Hare Krishna, everyone. So, welcome to the IYS Saturday sessions. I am very glad that all of you are here today. So, I can see many of you have joined. Like we see 29 participants. We were waiting for many other people also to join. So, so we'll start with the session, but then before that, I would like to introduce, I'll take the privilege to introduce our today's speaker, who is Her Grace Prema Pavitra Radha Mataji. So I think almost all of you would be knowing her for the first time. So she is a very senior devotee in IYS and has been practicing and preaching Krishna consciousness for several years, and she has completed her MSc, MPhil in microbiology, BEd, MA, and diploma in Montessori teaching practices. I was personally, like I was thinking, she has such so many degrees. So she's a very intelligent person. So this shows that. So she is a founder and principal of Vrindavan Global Preschool Pallavaram, and she's the center head of the International Montessori Teaching Training Institute in Pallavaram. So she is personally a very sweet, gentle, and amazing person, and an excellent motivating speaker. So she has given guest lectures on topics like parenting and childhood, time management, etc. at the rate at preschools, and was a chief guest for the cultural fest at Vivekananda Vidyalaya School. So few of you might be thinking that about this Ekadashi, right? I don't know how many of you are new to this Ekadashi. So, but I know that personally in my window, like many girls, they ask questions about how to follow Ekadashi. Mataji, can I eat this? Can I eat? Can I eat that? And how do I follow Ekadashi? So today is the day you relish this particular. The class, and make all your doubts clear and take proper privilege of today's session. So coming to IYS, anyone who is joining new, I would like to again introduce about IYS. Others would be very acquainted with this IYS. So IYS is ISKCON Youth Services of Chennai Temple. It's a forum where like-minded girls come together, we discuss, we learn and apply the Vedic wisdom in our life, especially from the scriptures like Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam and Ramayana. So it also gives a platform to develop friendship with like-minded people and take up spirituality open heartedly. We have IYS girls who are there all over the world and not only limited to India. So it's not limited only to Chennai only. So you can find the WhatsApp, Facebook, and Telegram link in the chat window. We will be posting it soon. I think Nitikushari Mataji has started posting it. So if you're not till now, have joined all these links, so please join in. So, and we'll be posting the feedback form at the end of the session. So kindly fill the feedback form. It's very, very important for us. Right. So over to you, Prema Pavitram Radha Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Deepa Priya Mataji. Thank you so much for the lovely introduction. Hope I'm audible for everyone. Yes? Yeah. Yes. Yes, thank you. Radhika. Yes, thank you so much. Rachita. So, yeah, I welcome one and all for this wonderful session on Ekadashi, as Deepa Priya Mataji was saying. So, this session would be, is the session, the word Ekadashi itself to start with is so auspicious because it is not different from Lord Hari, which is our sweet, loving Krishna. So, first of all, I would like to start with my prayers. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishnapreshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin iti namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Hare Hare. So start by thanking Her Grace Kriti Mataji for giving me this wonderful opportunity to interact with our advice girls. Let me first share my screen. Just give me a moment. Uh, yes, one second. Uh, hope it is visible. Like, yes. Uh, yes, right? No, it's not visible.
Yeah, not yet.
Not yet. One second. Just I will do that. One second. Okay. Hope it is visible now.
Yes, yes.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. So first, like today, so the topic was like we have to discuss about the glories of Ekadashi. As the name says, it has a lot of glories. I mean, if you take our scriptures, every scripture, you name it, it has nectar of instruction, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srimad Bhagavatam. I mean, you can keep naming it, Brahma Padma Puran. So every scripture will have at least one quote to speak about the glories of Ekadashi. So such is the glory of Ekadashi. So we will see one by one. So we will go as the basics of understanding, like what is the basic understanding of Ekadashi. So we will see that aspect first, and then we will probably see in a different perspective. Then we will see what science has to say about the glories of Ekadashi, and then we have our Ayurvedic point of view, the Patanjali Sutras, and astronomical point of view, and our Brahmahastra, always our spiritual point of view, and what is the benefit of doing the Ekadashi, I mean, on the spiritual platform. And then there are certain rules that we have to adhere to reap the full benefits of Ekadashi. So, before discussing the basics of Ekadashi, I mean, like, I would like any one of you to just either chat or unmute yourself and just say what you understand basically about Ekadashi. Like the very word Ekadashi to you, what does it mean? Any, like, you can type or just type one line or just 4 words, 4 to 5 words of the very word Ekadashi mean to you. Your realization of that. Yes. Uh, I mean, I'm not able to see the chat window. So Deepa Mataji, can you just tell me like?
Yeah, sure. I think many people have started writing down the chat window like
Yes.
remembrance of Lord Hari. Supriya writes, Vaishnavi writes 11th day Tithi. Santoshi writes a favorite day of Krishna. Rajeshwari writes dedicate that day fully to Krishna. So lots of it's just
Great,
coming
great.
in.
Amazing. Amazing. So yeah, I do understand that you have so it is good that you have almost caught the essence of it. So all of you have really actually caught the essence between and the day is dedicated to immersing fully into his thing. So let's check out what are the other meanings or other things about Ekadashi. So Ekadashi basically means the very word Eka means one. Dasi is a servant. So there's a literal, if you want to literally translate it. So it is one other servant. So it is one servant of Krishna. So Ekadashi, this Devi, she is one servant of Krishna. And if you want to see the internal meaning, it is so it generally comes like there's 11th day from the waxing and the waning moon. So the Sukla Paksha and the Krishna Paksha. And Ekadashi Devi also appeared on this 11th day of lunar cycle. So when we go into the session, we will be discussing how she appeared on this 11th day. And then it is day of Lord Hari, as most of you have written in the chat. Yes, it is a day of Hari, so it is Hari Vasaraha. So Lord Hari resides on this particular day. He invests his potency on this Ekadashi day. Is very much available. So we want to connect to Hari or Krishna, but this is the day that we can do that, a connection with him. And it is a mother of advancement, because any spiritual progress that we want to make in our life, So this day is the best day that we refrain all our other mundane activity and invest our energy and focus on Krishna. Thus, we get very quickly advanced by the grace of Ekadashi. And it's a very auspicious day because of Hari, because Hari is there, and anywhere Krishna or Hari is present, it just becomes auspicious automatically. And we all know this is a very layman understanding. Whenever you ask anybody what is Ekadashi means, is fast from grains. So this is not a thing, but this is a very important aspect of Ekadashi. And the day of sense control. So 11 senses. Again, if you can see this number 11 is popping up everywhere, that is the Ekadashi's internal understanding. So the 11th day, she appeared on the 11th day, and then the senses, 11 senses. What are the 11 senses? So Eka 1. So 1 is the mind, the main sense, and the other dasas 10. So 5 working senses and 5 knowledge acquiring senses. Put together, it is 11 senses. So all the senses, we are focusing on one point attention on Krishna. And when we do that, what happens? Automatically, it opens the gates to Vaikuntha. Yes. So now we will move on to our next slide, which is scientific perspective. What science has to say approve about Ekadashi? What is science has got? Okay. So there were scientists in Japan. They were doing some research. So they were taking. I know everybody knows about a little bit about the DNA. So just stay here with us. I will try to make it little palatable and very easy to understand. So this why I'm saying this is generally when we try to fast. We may have the enthusiasm to fast on Ekadashi. Yes, I will fast. But sometimes we may have some challenges that we face from either your friends or relatives or parents, family members saying, why do you do, first thing they will say is, you will spoil your health, right? That is the first thing we get. Don't do fasting, you will spoil your health. So let's see, are we spoiling our health, or on the contradictory, we are gaining health, or we are actually, it is doing the health is improving. So there was this Japanese scientist who were doing some research on the DNA. And what happened was that there is a part of, so DNA means we all know it is a genetic information. So all our physical, emotional, whatever qualities we have, everything is we inherit from the DNA, right? So this is a basic understanding. So DNA has all this coding information for our livelihood, whatever functioning of our body. But if you take the complete DNA and scan, they found out that only a certain portion, very small portion of the DNA has this coding information, and the rest of it did not have any information. It was not coding at all. No codes or any relevant information was available. So they named it junk DNA. So the major part was junk. It had no information. But this actually just took their, so they named it junk DNA, and it carried no information. So so now they caught hold of God. They said, oh, if God exists, if God is a creator, why would God create such a DNA which is half carrying information? Most of it does not have information. So they were blaming God that it is a mistake of God. And so many of them took advantage over this and said, God doesn't exist. But later, to our surprise, what happened was these scientists in Japan, they've interestingly found out that when generally DNA duplicates whenever we eat food, when we do anything, typically when we consume a lot of calories, what happens? DNA duplicates, and every time it duplicates, a part of this junk DNA will be lost, right? A portion of it will be lost. So are we all on the same page up till here? Yes? Hope you all are understanding it, because this is very important in terms of our understanding about the scientific importance of Ekadashi fasting. So assuming that you all understood, I will move on. So what happens is, so after 80 such duplications, so assuming we are eating all the time, and then each time we eat, it duplicates, a piece is lost, junk is lost. So likewise, 80 such duplications is done, all the junk DNA is lost, and we die. So this is what they have found out. So now after this research, they have come up to, now they have found out the importance or relevance of this DNA. So the, what are the two main functions is that it protects our genetic information. How? Have you seen the shoelace? Almost like everybody would have seen a shoelace, right? If you remember the shoelace, if you picturize it, the ends would have this casings, like the two ends on the shoelace, we have a casing, right? Which we have the sharp ends, the harder part. So like that, this junk DNA was acting as a casing, as a protection on both the sides to protect the important information that was coded in the central part of the coding DNA. So this was the main function. And one other function they found out was that it determines our lifespan. So as many pieces are lost faster, we die, we near death very faster. And if you slow down the process of this junk DNA being lost, we will live longer. We can expand our lifespan. So this is the understanding they found out. And how does it happen? So lesser food we consume, less junk DNA will be lost. So this was the thing. So now what they did, they were researching on 14 people and they were coming up with a lot of permutations and combinations. Like they were thinking like, okay, you fast on this day, alternative days, continuously for 5 days, 20 days, but then it did not work out. And they also kind of modulated their diet. Half of them were vegetarians and half of them were non-vegetarians. So interestingly enough, two research came up. One is those who ate non-vegetarian food or meat eaters reached closer to death, or the pieces of their DNA loss became very, very rapid. It became very fast. But those who had a vegetarian lifestyle, this pieces, the junk DNA which is lost is very, very less, and hence their lifespan is will be extended. So this was a finding. And also, so after doing this combinations, actually did not work practically because some people had to work. Those 14 people who are researched had normal, they had to go for work, so they became very tired. So this is not practically applicable in life. But after all this, they came to a point that they saw once in 2 weeks, okay, once in 2 weeks, one day, if you fast for 36 hours as a prolonged fast, continuous fast, then it got the maximum benefits. So, and the ages 8 to 80 years of age group can do this fast, which is exactly mentioned in Padma Purana. This is what, so it is coming, see how science is now coming in research and coming in line with our Vedic scriptures. This has been told since time immemorial in our Padma Puran, this 8 to 80 years. And the maximum result we get once in 2 weeks and 36 hours. This was a finding. And our Krishna calls it Ekadashi, right? So simple. So science has to do, a lot of research like this to come up to one point. Okay, but in our Vedas, our acharyas, our scriptures points out that Ekadashi is the best of all the fasts, that it gives us a lot of health benefits. So what is, so this research was done in 2016 by a Japanese scientist named Yoshinori, and he got a Nobel Prize for this. And Krishna speaks about Ekadashi and all our acharyas. Now this fellow, he got Nobel Prize on researching on this. Anyway, so how fasting impacts our aging process. So this was his research. So this was a supporting document for our Ekadashi, the 36-hour fast we do. How 36 hours? So we fast from Dasami, right? The Ekadashi comes, so the previous day is Dasami. So we ideally start from the 6 p.m. of that evening, and then so 12 to 12 the next day morning, 12 hours, and 24 hours of the next day. So it becomes 36. Now let's check in what Ayurveda has supporting glories of Ekadashi. So in our Patanjali Sutras, if you see, the same thing as mentioned. For generally for anybody, this Patanjali Sutra is basically for people who want to do yogic practices, who want to keep their body fit, so that in terms of they can reap both spiritual benefits by doing yoga systems and everything. In that one part of that, this is mentioned that meat eaters should fast one full month from sunrise to sunset for one full month. So this is how the Eid fasting is made, right? If you can relate to. recently we had Ramadan fasting. So our friends, our Muslim friends, they do eat, right? So they reap the benefits in that way. So for what has Patanjali Sutra has got for vegetarians, Vaishnavas? So we fast only once in 2 weeks, prolonged fast of 36, and we reap the same material and spiritual benefits of them fasting for one whole month, right? So this is so, and the Western world now calls this in so many names, they call it intermittent fasting. They call it OMAD. OMAD means 1 meal a day. This is now very, very popular. It is like, everywhere. If in Facebook groups, Twitters, you can Google OMAD. Now it is coming up. People who are having cancer, any beginning stage of cancers, they are cured with this fasting lifestyle, fasting focused life. So this is very famous, and water fasting. So all this was only for, it is given in our Vedic scriptures also. This is what Ekadashi glories are about. We fast water. It is not only for our material benefits, but spiritually also we have. So let's check out slowly, one by one. We will decode how it is spiritually benefiting. So now for our understanding. So now anybody tells you that okay, don't fast because on Ekadashi, because your health will be affected. So here is your weapon. So you can so you don't have to hurry. It is going to give you both spiritual and health benefits. So just moving on to the highlights of that, little bit, major highlights. So what happens when we fast? Digestive system is being cleansed, it is at rest, so enzymes and hormones will come to a balance, right? And the next one, what happens? This is very interesting. Human growth hormone. So interestingly enough, it helps in our anti-aging. So everybody wants to be beautiful. We want this facial serums, right? We invest money on facial this serums, this salicylic acid, whatever. So what happens is we get it for free on Ekadashi. Ekadashi, Devi bestows it just in an 8-hour fasting window, 8 to 16-hour window. This human growth hormone pops in. And interestingly enough, when we age up to a certain limit, this growth hormone stops producing in our body, and that is why we age. The aging starts. Makes sense, right? Because this growth hormone is not there, so we age. So once we somehow in between do a fast and try to produce that hormone, we fix the problem of aging. So that's how wonderfully fasting works. And detoxification, we know this is very simple. Everybody will know it purifies our blood, and this body is overall it is purified. And another wonderful thing, it is autophagy. Autophagy means cells, when we fast, it starts when we are starving, when we are not eating. So for its survival, what it does, it goes inside and it clears out all the virus, bacteria, all the abnormal proteins and everything. It clears. Basically, it's like a deep cleaning. When we deep clean the kitchen, generally when we don't have any work to cook, that is the time we fix for deep cleaning, right? Yes, Madhujis? So this is how our system also works. When you stop the system, when you put digestive system to a rest, autophagy will kick in, deep cleaning happens, and everywhere it just pulls out everything. So no cancer cells. So every 15 days is a cleansing process. So we will not get cancer because we are checking there, right? Every 15 days we are deep cleaning the body. And this is the most amazing thing which we can get from this fasting, Ekadashi or 36-hour fast, which is brain-derived neurotrophic factor. So actually, if you see, if there is a problem with the liver, you go to the doctor and the doctor prescribes some medicine, right? So he will say, okay, chalo, you get to have this liver medicine if you're not feeling hungry. And then you have so many tonic, you have blood purifiers, a lot of things. But there is no medicine or there is no tonic a doctor can prescribe for your brain. So this can only happen if you fast a prolonged fast, like this happens by a 18-hour to 24-hour window. This brain-derived neurotrophic factor. So what is the function? Generally, our brain cells are degenerating on a daily basis. So it regenerates the brain cells. This is the only one which helps. You cannot fix this with any diet. There is no diet, there is no tonic, there is no magic tablet, nothing. Only fasting can bring this benefit to you. And interestingly enough, generally when we age, we forget. Memory is not there, right? We forget. So when this BDNF, we call it, when this kicks in, it regenerates the brain cells and we remember more. So it is good that we are in spiritual life, we are reading scriptures, and as we are aging, memory is one thing that we need, right? So this is all the highlights. Now here there's a timeline every hour. So considering time, I would not go in detail. I have picked the highlights. No, I will share this in the WhatsApp over iWise Ulas. In case if you're interested, you can just go through it later. So moving on to the astronomical perspective. So we covered the basic, the scientific, Ayurvedic. Now we are into the astronomical perspective. So generally, if we, so this astronomical perspective was given to us by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He is none other than our spiritual master of our Srila Prabhupada. So he gave this interesting perspective from astronomical point of view about Ekadashi. So we know this 11th day from the waxing and waning moon, it has a maximum tidal action. So from Dasami day to Dwadashi day, this 36 hours, the tides in the ocean will hike. No, it'll be very high tides will be there. So what happens? So why they say why should not eat grains and beans in this time? Because our body, if you take the human body, is 70% of water, right? So the water we say in generally in Tamil also we say andathil undadu pindathil undu, right? I don't know how to translate it in Hindi or English. So this is a saying in Tamil. They say whatever is outside materially, it is because our body is also made of Panchabhuta, right? The material world is made of Panchabhuta. Our body is also made of Panchabhuta. So any changes that are happening outside our body also reflects our inside of our body. So when the high tides are happening inside our body, we already have water, a lot of water. And in turn, if you eat grains and beans on this day, what happens? The grain has a property to store water. It generally absorbs a lot of water. It accumulates water. So you will get that bloated feeling comes, right? So it accumulates water. So what happens? Already there is havoc going outside, the tides are there, so it will create a lot of havoc in the body. Any diseases are there will be accelerated. Any thyroid or any rheumatoid disease we have, that will be accelerated in that point in time if you don't fast or if you take trains and beans on this particular Ekadashi day, because the tides are high. Or any new disease, if there is a point in time that you're going to get some disease, this disease will be generated only in this particular day, because a lot of havoc is going on, a lot of agitation is going on. So this is the two things. So that is why we refrain from beans and grains. And also on a other spiritual point also, our rasas are agitated. Rasas means our desires, lust, everything will be so much agitated. If you on top of it already it is tidal action, now if you eat more grains, this agitation becomes more. So to avoid all that, we refrain from beans and grains on Ekadashi. So now we are going into our very interesting part, the most awaited part, that is the spiritual aspect. So first we will start with the appearance story of Ekadashi. So there was a rishi called Jamni Rishi. So he wanted to understand what is this Ekadashi and what are the benefits of Ekadashi, what are the spiritual glories of Ekadashi Devi. So he approached his spiritual master, Srila Vyasadev, and he sort of asked these queries to him. And Srila Vyasadev started narrating the story of Ekadashi Devi. And he interestingly says that the query what you've asked will be useful for people of Kali Yuga, because they will also have such kind of queries. So like that, he says, and he starts off. So this is in Padma Puran, chapter 14, this conversation between Jamni Rishi and Srila Vyasadev. So what happens is, so Lord Vishnu creates, when he creates the universe, he creates the living entities, the non-living, the moving and the non-moving entities. So when people, and he also created a personality called Papa Purusha to punish those people who are engaging in sinful activities. So this is the Papa Purusha. He is the Papa Purusha. I know he's very scary, but he is Papa Purusha, and this was a personification of sins. So he's a sin personified. So Lord Vishnu created this personality and said, whoever does any sins, so it is like we have a long list here. So I will just read few things. So his head was made up of the sin of murdering a Brahmana. So it is like customized protocol for us. Okay. So if you kill a Brahmana, it is like equivalent to you are manifesting the head of Papa Purusha in your, something like that. And then 2 eyes in the form of drinking. If you intoxications you take, then his 2 eyes would manifest in your account. Now you have the head, you have the eye, assuming we all do that, but we wouldn't. So this is the list. So I considering time, again, I will skip this and I will share in the group. So the understanding this Papa Purusha when it was created. I mean, after this appearance, lot of people started doing sins, and then in their account, lot of sins were credited. So then what happened was, they had to go to hellish planets, and all those things was happening. So we will keep aside the story of Papa Purusha, and now we will see simultaneously how Ekadashi appeared also. So there was this demon called Mura, okay? And he was creating a lot of disturbances throughout for many celestial years, and Lord Vishnu had to fight with him. And one day Lord Vishnu was taking rest in a cave, and this Hura demon, he suddenly enters, and he was about to kill Lord Vishnu. And then suddenly what happens, the internal potency of the Lord manifests as this beautiful female incarnation, the Ekadashi Devi, as you can see on the screen. So she suddenly comes and she kind of hits the Sudarshan Chakra, and she kills this Mura demon. And this Hura demon, once she is killed with her hands, he goes to Vaikuntha. He got liberation. Now, like, Vishnu is wondering, how is this happening? I mean, I couldn't do, and you gave him liberation just like that in your touch. And Ekadashi Devi said, my dear Lord, I am your internal potency. Out of mercy, I manifested. I am your potency of compassion and mercy. So please give me a benediction that anyone who follows Ekadashi vow will be freed from all the sins and they will go to Vaikuntha. So this is the benediction she got from Lord Vishnu. So if you remember, now the Papa Purusha is manifesting one side. Now Ekadashi also manifested the other side. Now what happens is, so people were doing a lot of sins one side, and they were going to Yamaraj's abode for punishment, severely tortured. And once Lord Vishnu was passing through Yamaraj's abode, he could hear loud cries of the sinful souls, and they were like sort of punished very brutally for each of their karmic, sinful karma that they've accumulated. And a lot of havoc, a lot of shouting, a lot of cries was going on. And Lord Vishnu's heart actually melted out of compassion and mercy. I was like thinking what to do. And he says, like, okay, let them chant Hari's name or follow Ekadashi, and they will be cleared of all the sins. So this benediction, if we remember, Ekadashi was, she got. So then on, all the souls followed Ekadashi. They were chanting Hari, 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 like that. Enthusiastically, they followed very strictly. And interestingly, Lord Yamaraj's abode was empty in one point in time. And what happened was, I could see somebody raising their hand, so fine, we can take it later. So, I mean, so this Yamaraj's abode was literally empty. And Papa Purusha, on the other hand, this poor fellow, his body was very weak and he was about to die because nobody committed any sins. And if at all they did, they took the mercy and shelter of Ekadashi Devi following Ekadashi vow, and they got cleared of all the sins. The account was cleared, clear, all the negative karma cleared, right? So, I mean, Yamaraj and this Papa Purusha, both of them were like, don't know what to do. And they kind of went to Lord Vishnu and they asked, my dear Lord, you created us, you have to maintain us also. Now, what are we supposed to do? We are supposed to serve you. We are your servants also. So how do we perform our work, our duties when everybody is going to Vaikuntha? And then Lord Vishnu was like, okay. So then he says, Papa Purusha also Like, okay, you go and hide somewhere, you go and please hide. I can't do anything about it, because Ekadashi is very, very powerful. She's very compassionate. She just like that gives liberation for anybody who fasts on strictly on Ekadashi principle, on vows. So Lord Hari was talking like this, and Papa Purusha was like, my dear Lord, you're like Jagannath, where do I go? I mean, all the material world and the spiritual world is your place. I mean, where do I go and hide? And then you have to come up with a solution. And then Lord Vishnu was like thinking, and he said, okay, fine, now I give you one place to hide. So he says, the day when Ekadashi Devi manifests, other days are all right, you can be free, but the day she manifests, which is the 11th day, you will take shelter of beans and grains. So that is how this, why we refrain from beans and grains, right? So Papa Purusha is residing, he is actually hiding himself, he is residing in the beans and grains. So anytime we take any scoop of rice or beans or dal accidentally also on Ekadashi, we are actually manifesting Papa Purusha in our life. We are, instead of creating the good karma, we are accumulating a bad karma. We are manifesting Papa Purusha. So that is why we don't eat grains during this Ekadashi day, right? And we will see glories of Ekadashi from a spiritual perspective. So what are the glories? So why is she so powerful? What why Ekadashi has so many glories? So we all know Bhakti Yoga is a topmost, right? So many of you would have attended this Gita Made Easy course wonderfully. Our Sukruti Mataji Namrendra Prabhu was presenting it in a very, very wonderful, beautiful way. So we, in that thing, we would have understood the ladder, yoga ladder. Mataji would have explained the yoga ladder. So topmost yoga ladder, we have Bhakti Yoga, right? That is it. And Krishna also says it is the best. Krishna has said in Bhagavad Gita, in my opinion, Arjuna, this is the best. So likewise, Ekadashi fast is also the king of all the fasts. So that is why it is very, very important. And to add to more glories, our Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, there is a pastime, very beautiful pastime, that he convinces his mother Sachi Devi. He literally falls into her feet. He begs that, mother, you please follow Ekadashi. Those times there was a myth that widows or so many only people would follow Ekadashi. People who are not widows will not follow Ekadashi. But Mahaprabhu in that time broke this principle. So we all know Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, those of you who are new, is none other than Krishna in Radharani's mood. He is he appeared 500 years ago as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Krishna himself appeared. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was asking a benediction that, mother, can you give me one benediction, please? So mother was like, yes, please, yes, I can give you anything. So what is, you please ask me. So then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was like, please follow Ekadashi very strictly. This is one thing I want you to do for your spiritual benefit. So if you can see, Krishna himself as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is insisting his mother to follow Ekadashi, we can understand how glorious Ekadashi Devi is. And we also know this very beautiful saying that Madhav Hiti Bhakti Janani, which means Madhav is Krishna, Hiti is the day of Krishna, which is the day of Lord Hari, right? And day of Lord Hari is invested on Ekadashi. So Ekadashi is the day of Lord Hari. So whenever Ekadashi is there as a mother, as a pregnant mother gives a daughter, like whenever we follow Ekadashi Devi, we bring her into our life. Automatically, she gives birth to the daughter called Bhakti Devi. Bhakti Janani. Janani means birth. So what are the spiritual benefits of Ekadashi? So when one fasts on Ekadashi, we have to follow like certain rules, which are a little, so when we engage all our senses in one pointed focus on the Supreme Lord Krishna, so we are getting a lot of benefits. Like it is said, any of us will not be, has not got the opportunity to go to dhams, or we will want to, but then due to our work reasons, we may not be able to visit dhams. So it is said that it is equal to performing many Ashwamedha yajnas, and it is equal to visiting all dhams. So why is it said so? why is it saying that it is dams, it is equal to dams? Because we know it is Lord Hari's day. And if you fast vow and when you chant Lord Hari's name, like when you chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Krishna is manifesting, and wherever Krishna is manifesting, that place becomes a holy dham. I mean, Vrindavan comes to your house. You don't have to go to Vrindavan. So on every Ekadashi, you make your house auspicious, you make your place Vrindavan. When Krishna is manifesting, it is Vrindavan. So, and it also burns all our sins. It brings an auspiciousness and purifies internally, because when you chant and read scriptures, when you engage your senses in Krishna, when Krishna is there is no place for Maya Devi. So our mind and consciousness will be purified. All our Maya will just leave us gradually, and we will start to realize God or Krishna. So thus we elevate our spiritual advancement. And when we advance, as we keep advancing, we will get a lot of realizations. And as we get a lot of realization, it increases our faith in Krishna. And as a result, what happens? It takes us back to Godhead, and we are liberated. We escape the cycle of birth and death. So then, when so glorious, now we saw how glorious Ekadashi is. So how are we supposed to reap the benefits of this Ekadashi? So generally we say Upavas, right? Upavas meaning, so it's a fast, Ekadashi Upavas. So Upavas, Upa means, so Vas is to live, Upa is close. So stay close, staying close to Krishna, right? Vas is to live, so staying close. So how do we do that? How do we stay close to Krishna? So Prabhupada says we have to control the mind and senses, as we discussed earlier. So why we are focusing on this same, so many certain things will pop up again and again, because it is very, very important. It is a crucial aspect that we have to do on Ekadashi. So it is not just the material benefits of health that we are fasting. The main idea is that we focus our mind and senses on Krishna, so that we get all this benefits of Ekadashi. So how do we do that? So we plug in. Where do we plug in? We plug into scriptures, Bhagavad Gita as it is. So now we also have Gita Made Easy course coming up, right? So I request each one of you to kindly take advantage of this Gita Made Easy course. If you have not attended this session, it is coming up again in English and in Tamil. So please take advantage of and enroll yourself. It will be such an amazing experience and realization. So coming back, so yes, so when we plug into Krishna, right? So we plug into scriptures, and what happens? We get charged. How do we get charged? When we read Bhagavad Gita, when we read Bhagavatam, when we touch the scripture, Krishna said, "I am not different from my scriptures, from Bhagavad Gita." Krishna and Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam is non-different. It is Krishna. You turn the book, every time you hear a lecture from Bhagavad Gita, you are associating with Krishna. We all of us are touching Krishna when we touch the book, when we read. So Krishna is not only talking to Arjuna, Krishna is talking personally to each one of us. It is like a book, or it is like a letter, personal letter that Krishna has written to each one of us, not only to Arjuna, right? So if somebody very important has written some letter to us, if say for instance Prabhupada or anybody else, or anybody of your friend, very important person in your life, has given you some letter, so what we will do, we will frame it, we will keep it, we will turn it and see now and then to associate with them, right? So this is Krishna himself. He has 700 shlokas, 700 quotes, that life realizations, guidelines he has given to us personally. It is to each one of us. So it's a personal booklet from Krishna to us. That is how we get charged, and we discharge our devotional service, right? And chanting is the essence. So how chanting is the essence on Ekadashi? So we saw scriptures. One way to connect with Krishna is through scriptures, and next is chanting. So Prabhupada recommended as many rounds of chanting. We refrain from mundane work, and we take advantage of this day. So we chant more and reap the benefit. So interestingly, there is a triad of truth. which means in this material world, if you see, there are only two truths. Everything else is an illusion, the relationships what we have, the whatever house we are living, this body is also an illusion, it will fade away. But there are only two truths in this material world. One is the jiva, which is the soul, and the other is the harinam. These are the only truths which are prevalent in this material world. So when the jiva plugs in or connects through by the harinam, what happens? The absolute truth of Krishna manifests in our life. This is a supreme truth from spiritual platform. He is connecting to us to the material platform. So one ticket to Goloka is only by chanting. So in now in IYS also, we have this 6 p.m. chanting sessions are going on, and Prabhuji and Mataji are very wonderfully facilitating this program for the benefit of each one of us. So I request again all of you to please take advantage of this chanting session, which is going on at 6 p.m. and also chant also regularly. So every day, those who have started to chant, very good. Those who have not started to chant, please start chanting. And on Ekadashi days, only chant. That is a recommendation if we want to connect to Krishna. Yes, the next topic. So now we are the very upcoming Ekadashi, the very next Ekadashi, 21st June, is Pandava Nirjala Ekadashi, or it is otherwise called Bhima Ekadashi. So let's very quickly see what is the glories of that. And so we know Pandava brother, this Bhima Sen. So he cannot control hunger. For him, Ekadashi and all he cannot do. It's like too much for him, like too much. And refraining from food, he was like, oh my God, I can't do this. And then he asked Krishna, what can I do? And then they all approach Vyasadev and they get some clarification on this. So Vyasadev says, you better follow Pandavan Hirjala Ekadasi. This Ekadashi, once in a year, just as one Ekadashi, you refrain from food and water, not even water. You just do that, and you will reap the benefits of all other Ekadashis which you missed out. It's like but it does not mean that we will all other Ekadashis and focus on this, but to start up with, since we are having the next Ekadashi is Pandava Hirjal, just in case we have missed any other Ekadashis earlier, we were not able to do for any reasons, then we can definitely get advantage from this Pandava Hirjal when we fast from water, refraining ourselves from water this one day, 36 hours. And we have discussed earlier what are the health benefits also in that point of view also. And as a package, this offer, Krishna is giving this jumbo offer of all the Ekadashis in one Ekadashi. So that is the beauty of Pandava Hirjal Ekadashi. So I request all of you to, please take advantage of this Ekadashi on 21st June. So then what's our final destination? So if we take shelter of Ekadashi, obviously there is no doubt that we will reach Lord Hari's abode, Vaikuntha or Goloka. And if we don't, and so we would not do that because nobody wants to go to Yamaraj. So definitely we are sincere devotees, and just once if you follow Ekadashi in your life sincerely, there is no doubt we will reach Lord Krishna's abode. Yes. So there are certain rules to be followed, just the basic things I'm covering here. There are a lot more. These are the basic things to start up with, to generally to follow. So we know that we have to wake up early and take bath, the usual thing, and chant as many rounds. So this, if you see it is repeated again and again, chanting is the essence. And if you have deities or any picture of Krishna, you may worship them. Patram, Pushpam, Phalam, Toyam, anything with devotion, you can give him. And you pray to Tulsi Devi. So Ekadashi Devi and Tulsi Devi can bestow this liberation quickly. They are the mercy personified or personification. So they will, when you approach them, spiritual advancement will be like going in a lift rather than climbing in steps, right? So we have to read scriptures, avoid sleep, We have to work less, in the sense working mundane things like cooking and other cleaning things, and focus on Krishna. And we fast from grains and beans. So this is being insisted on and on, because as we know, this is very, very dangerous. So these are like the two enemies of our spiritual life. These two guys, grains and beans, right? These two guys are our enemies in this material world. They are keeping us, they will keep us away from Krishna. So this you have to refrain from on Ekadashi, right? And we have to do charity. So donating clothes, food, and money to do to this poor and all we can do, and it will accumulate a lot of good karma as well. And it also brings in a lot of auspiciousness in our life. So these are the general things that we can follow on Ekadashi to start up with. And doing that, what happens? We go back home, back to Goloka. So the home in the H, there's an acronym. So the H means like a temporary stay in a hotel, right? This illusion, this material world is like the hotel. We only stay, if we stay in a hotel, we check in for 5 days maybe, but we don't do any, arrangements, like we don't buy furnitures, we don't repaint the wall of the hotel. We don't try to make such arrangements, because we know that we will anyways have to check out and go back to our real home, that is our home. So likewise, this material world is not a permanent place, a temporary stay, like a hotel that we are staying here. So that changes when you do Ekadashi. This changes to a permanent stay at home. What is our home? Goloka. The O, and the O in the home stands for we take birth again and again in this material world. Once we follow Ekadashi, that scenario changes to we get eternal bliss over and over again, right? So we don't have to change our bodies, right? So Krishna says, Dehi nosman yata dehi. So we don't have to take birth over and over again. And the M stands for we being the imperfect maintainers, right? We think we are the maintainers. We maintain our home, we maintain our kids, but in reality, we cannot maintain anybody. So it is quite difficult. We cannot control our other normal urges also. We cannot maintain. So in the process, we fail, and then we get depressed, we get stressed out. So all these things are there. So once we take Ekadashi and we perfect our lives, the scenario changes, because Krishna takes the control, and Krishna, being a perfect maintainer, maintains us. And then there is no stress or delusion. Then E. E is the illusionary essence of life being sense gratification. So all in our life, we revolve around sense gratification. Somehow, I mean, as devotees, we don't voluntarily do it, but somehow Maya attacks us in so many ways. And during office, during college, as a friend. So we are so much so distracted. Somehow we want to focus, but Maya somehow deviates us and we sense gratify. So sometimes we think we revolve a sense to be a sense gratification. It is illusionary. So that perspective changes when we take shelter of Ekadashi to devotional service to Krishna, and we understand, and this realization comes, and Krishna being the true essence of our life. Right. So there is a list of foods to be avoided to enhance our benefits to go back home. These are the list of foods. So again, I will share this screen, this particular slide also in our IYS. So you can, just note it down. And from next Ekadashi, because sometimes when we start by mistake, we add, when we prepare some sabudana, we add some tomatoes, and then our fast is, our whatever austerity we are doing is just like that broken. So we don't want to do that. So we'll take the list and we will try to apply that in a proper way. And what are the foods that we are allowed to eat? There is again a list, and we will again share the slide in IYS groups. So you can make note of it also. And the next part is how we break the fast. So fasting is important, and equally important that we have to break a fast during that particular parent time. So the next day of Ekadashi is Dwadashi. So it is the 12th day from sun rises from Dwadashi, and the Ekadashi fast comes to an end. So we have a particular parent time that every specific Ekadashi, we have specific parent times. So I think we will usually share in the group, so you can see that, and we meticulously break the fast in that particular time. And as usual, we take bath, we chant Hari's names, and we break the fast. So when we break the fast, there is a procedure. So if we are doing a Nirjala fast, we break our fast by sipping in water. Or if you are doing a fast by drinking, you are fasted the whole Ekadashi by drinking water only, then we break our fast with Anukalpa Prasadam. Anukalpa meaning with little fruits and milk. So if you are fasting only with Anukalpa, which means you are fasted with milk and fruits the whole of Ekadashi day, then we break with some sabudana. If that is also not possible, if you are eating sabudana and so many other recommended prescribed items, then we fast with grains. So eventually we eat grains, but just to break the level of fast, we just go by this procedure. So to put all our session of the whole session's understanding into one point as one shloka, as one realization, is we fast yet we feast. Oh, how is this? This is contradicting, right? Fast and feast, how can they go together? It is contradicting. So how we fast and yet we feast? We'll check out. How is that? So, fast, when we fully absorb senses and thoughts on Krishna, then it becomes a feast for our soul, right? The soul is our real identity. We are not this body, so we are the soul, the Jiva. So, Jiva, when we connect with the Paramatma, Krishna, it is like a feast. That is the day it is like a party, right? A spiritual party is going on between the Jiva and Krishna. It's a party time. So we feast. So how do we connect with Krishna? As we earlier saw, we chant, we read scriptures, we connect with him. So the soul is really feasting time. So Krishna is manifesting in our hearts, when we in our tongue, when we chant. So Krishna is everywhere, and we make our home a Vrindavan. And with all of this, it is a spiritual party. We feast, right? So thank you, everyone. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. I really appreciate that all of you have taken your time on this wonderful evening to join us in the glories of Ekadashi. Hope it was useful. Thank you so much. So the session is officially ended here. So please, there would be an announcement coming up regarding the mentorship program. So I would request all the participants to stay back to get, to know about the announcement. So we'll be making announcements on this mentorship program. So I request all of you to stay back for just a few minutes. Thank you all. Over to Deepapriya Mataji.
Yeah, thank you so much, Prema Pavitra Mataji. So it was such a wonderful session. I enjoyed a lot. So I see so many questions are also there, as you said that announcements are there. So girls, please hold on. I know Ekadashi related, you will have a lot of questions. I see many questions are coming in the chat window. So please hold on. We have some important announcements. So let's have those announcements. There are two announcements regarding, one is regarding the mentorship, and the second is regarding the slight time changes we want to do in these sessions. So please hold on. So we'll start first with our this mentorship. So I'll just quickly share my screen. Just give me 1 minute. I hope you're able to see my screen.
Yes.
Yes, right? Yeah.
Yes.
So I don't know how many of you are new. So, but if not, many of you who are there with us for, these many months. So you in the online sessions that we are conducting, so you would be knowing that we have launched this IYS mentorship program, and many of you are already the mentees of the mentors, existing mentors like Nitya Kishori Mataji, me as in Deepa Priya, and Anuttama, and also Ekaleshwari Mataji. So we four had been and had been mentoring you all. So we have So just a brief before I announce the main part today. So I just want to go through this mentorship program again, so that just a few minutes, so that you all have some idea, if anyone is joining new, about what is mentorship program. So in short, we all need someone in our lives, like as you all know, we want to follow someone, or we have certain doubts regarding so many things. If in for education, we also had doubts wherein we had teachers we used to ask. Similarly, for spirituality also, definitely we will have so many doubts, and we want to share so many things with some people, someone who can give us guidance in our spirituality, right? So this IYS mentorship program is the program which gives you this opportunity, right? So we meet an experienced devotee, and that experienced devotee, her responsibility is to make us closer to Krishna. So it's a structured system generally for the mentor and mentees to come together. They work on the common goals, and achieve that. So so what we do, we need why do we need a mentor? So as I was saying, we need a mentor because day to day, practicing spirituality practically, practically, if you want to practice spirituality, you will yourself know that how many hindrance would come. Personally, maybe in your family someone is not supporting you, you may need guidance. May have some personal issues for which you need spiritual guidance. You may need spiritual guidance because all of us are enthusiastic for growing in spirituality, isn't it? That's why we are joining here in this session. I see 50 of you have joined this session. That means we all are very, very anxious to grow and advance in our spirituality. So this mentorship program would definitely give that. And moreover, it will also give a platform of having a friendship with, having spiritual friendship. I know many of you are attending this IYS Tamil and IYS Telugu sessions. So which definitely I know that you have this interaction with each other wherein you become friends with each other. So take advantage of this program. And expectations from a mentee would be like, the first expectation would be like, have a contact with your mentor on a regular basis. Understand, speak about yourself to your mentor, so that the mentor knows, you know about each other. So mentor knows about you, because they say, right, tali do haath se bajti hai. That means for this clap to happen, two hands have to come together. Similarly, the mentor and mentee should be interacting with each other. So the mentee should be coming up to the mentor also, and the mentor also would reach the mentee. So this is an expectation and a genuine seeking heart to take advantage of this program. So how does it work? So we will like, you can come, you can always reach out to your mentor and say about your comfort zone, whether you are comfortable on call or in all in messages. And how would you, like, each mentor has a different mood of doing this mentorship program. So you would definitely know when you would interact with your mentor once you register in this mentorship program. And so let's meet our mentors. So this is one of the important part, because previously we had only the 4 mentors, but now in today's session we are going to introduce 2 more mentors in IYS. So first is today's speaker, that is Prema Pavitra Radha Mataji. She would be one of our active mentor now. And she, as I was saying, that about her educational background, like how how educated she is, and how she's actually married, and she is having 2 kids also. And in spite of that, she does so many wonderful services at her home. She is a very good, like, all of us want to know that how to manage this house, and how to manage work, and how to manage even spirituality. So she is the one who can give us such an wonderful wonderful way of managing the time. And she is doing services, like she is the IYS core team member. She is also mentoring the girls, and also she's serving in Suddha restaurant, the restaurant of ISKCON Chennai temple. And her interests are like reading, traveling, and she's also having psychological interest as well, and of course scriptural subjects. So this is about Prema Pavitra Mataji. So now coming to Meena. So Meena Kanimuli Mataji, I think many of you would be knowing her because she is taking care of this IYS. She is also one of the active member of IYS Tamil, and many Tamil speaking girls are also connected to her. So, and she's a wonderful book distributor. I have personally, anyone who was, who like before pandemic, who was there in temple, they would definitely know that anyone who would pass through her bookstall would not go without taking a book. Like, she would literally, distribute the Bhagavad Gita so enthusiastically. She has been in contact with ISKCON since more than 5 years, and she's also experienced in mentoring girls for more than 2 years. So these are the two mentors whom I would like to introduce today. And also we have Nitya Kishori Mataji. I know many mentors are also connected to Nitya Kishori Mataji and are taking active help. Many of you are attending her chanting sessions also. And I know she is giving such wonderful spiritual guidance to many of you. So this is about Nitya Kishori Mataji. We have Anuttama Chitra Mataji. She is one of the most sweetest mentor in our IYS core team member, and also in this, and all the girls, among all the girls IYS. So she's one of the sweetest girl. So, and she is an counseling psychologist, and I know many of them are attending. She has many mentors, and those mentees, sorry, she has many mentees, and those mentees are attending her reading sessions also. And I say you, she is actually, how to say, she knows the essence of so many this bhakti. Like if you talk to her, you will come to know that she can give you such nice profound knowledge about this spirituality. So I'm personally a fan of her. So I like, and the way she sings, it's awesome. Like many of you had attended her chantings, one of the chanting session, right, wherein she was chanting, and she is a trained singer also. So I love her kirtans in that way. Now coming to me. So right now I'll not be so active, but as many of you mentors are also connected to me, and but I'll not be so active in the coming days because my due date is approaching very soon. I'm pregnant and I'll be leaving soon. So not talking much about me, we will go to Ekaleshwari Mataji. So now coming to Ekaleshwari Mataji, I think all of you, like 90% of you would be knowing about her, that how beautiful mentor she is, and how she is taking care of so many girls. And she is again a genius, and I think one of the pillars of the IYS core team members. So she's mentoring so many girls, and almost all her mentors are looking forward to her, to follow her. She's exemplary in her behavior. So this is all about our mentorship program. So please, I'll be posting now in the chat window this the link for you all to, you know um, to enroll in our mentorship program. So anyone who has not yet enrolled, please kindly go to that form and fill in your details, and take advantage of this mentorship program. So now I'll be launching a poll. We have some options for you all, because see, this session is all about you. We all want to spiritually progress. So I want your active participation in taking this poll. You have to just take up some options. There we will be giving you some options. So you need to choose that which time is comfortable for all of you to attend this IYS session. So I'm launching the poll, and I'm requesting all of you to please kindly take up the poll. And I have launched it. Hope you all can see. Please kindly start giving your valuable votes. I see votes are coming in. Okay. I have 40 of us are participating, and maybe leaving 3 of us. I think we should get 37 votes here. Please kindly take up this poll. So 30 of 37 people have voted. 7 more people to go. Please kindly vote in. If you're not able to find this, this poll, you can see something popping up in your window in your mobile, or if you're connected through your laptop, it would be there. So please kindly take in. So only 81% of you have voted. Okay, 31, 32, 4 more people. Please kindly vote. Okay, so 2 more. Who are this lucky two I'm waiting for? Please fill in your votes. So I got a comment here, like from Aparna. These timings are also good, Mataji. Saturday evening, 6:30 to 7:30. But as you all know that we have this Gita Made Easy part, like 2021 coming, and that's starting from 7 o'clock, and so we don't want to clash with that. I know that all of us would be looking forward for that session, and many of us would be joining there. So we don't want to clash there. Okay, so here I am ending the poll. So I know all of you have voted, so I'm ending the poll. Okay, so I'm sharing the results. So Saturday evening, 8 to 9, most of you have voted, and Sunday evening, 4:30 to 5:30 is the second one, and Saturday noon, I think only 4 of you have voted. So we'll see on that. So thank you so much for you know kindly participating in that. I understand that how enthusiastic you all are. So now we'll take up the question answer. So Pavitra, Prem Pavitra Mataji. So we have some of the questions which I will read out to you, or maybe if you want, you can pick out from this chat window itself. The first question is by Yadurani Kalindi Devidasi Mataji. So she is asking question like, please answer us, when we do not break fast on time on Dwadashi, what is the result?
Actually, if you're not supposed, if you somehow missed out by not breaking the fast, we have to continue doing the fast. We have to again fast on Ekadashi. On Dwadashi day, complete the next 24 hours. And that's how we do it. I generally, they say we have to, this parent time is really, really important. So we do not have to skip that. So that is why a lot of reminders we keep posting, and so I request you to please don't do that. So we have to be so equal. As I said, equally it is important to break the fast on this current time. Yes, Mataji, the next.
Yeah. So just to add to Yadurani Kalindi Mataji's question, so
Yeah.
another thing which I have heard from the senior devotees is like, in case if you are forgetting to break your fast on Dwadashi, so one thing is that you can the results would be minimized, but it does not mean that you
Yeah.
won't you would be
Get anything.
you have skipped your Ekadashi or something. And the second thing is that more than rules, the attitude or the spiritual the thing in which we do this Ekadashi, that is more important. But then Paran time is very important because we're following the sadhana bhakti, so that is very, very important. So the next question is by Akshaya Mataji. Can menstruating women do fasting on Ekadashi?
Why not? Yes, we can. There is no restriction on that because we are beyond the bodily platform. So yes, we can do. We can fast. We can
Okay.
do the fasting. Yes.
So next question is by Vaishnavi. When to pluck tulasi?
Yeah. Yes. So actually, if you have when you want to offer some food to Krishna on Ekadashi days, because we are only fasting, so Krishna, you can offer some food, and we don't have to. In case if you want to offer some sabudana, in case you want to eat, if you're preparing Ekadashi prasadam, then you want to offer. What we generally do is we pluck the tulsi leaves the day before. So we kind of pluck it and keep it in the refrigerator or somewhere so that it's not dried up. So we can put it in a airtight container. So you can pluck few leaves. And because we don't disturb Ekadashi Devi, because she is also observing, she will be doing this Ekadashi fast. And the next day on Dwadashi also, we're not supposed to disturb her because she will be taking rest. Yes.
Okay, so the next question is by Kirtana. She is asking that if we are in a situation where we can't follow or we have any health issues, how shall we overcome, Mataji? Like, how should we do this Ekadashi? I think that's her question.
So general Ekadashis, yes, as I said, there are different levels to start up with if there is health issue. So Prabhupada always used to say health is first. We have to take care of your health, because only when your health is there, we can continue our sadhana bhakti. So yes, health is the first priority. But how can we address is that we do you can we have a list of foods, right? So we can eat fruits, we can take milk, we can eat lot of, actually there are a lot of dishes. I think there are 100 plus dishes that we can do on Ekadashi. I think we can share on different Google, I mean, links for the different recipes that you can make. So you can take advantage of those recipes, and you can do within that stipulated that list, that what is allowed. We can make a lot of recipes. So it's not that we have to, restrain from water or do such this, drink only water. So there are different levels as per our health condition. So we have allowance like that. So you can, your health better, so you can choose accordingly. Yes.
So another question is by Shri PSS Ships. As I'm not able to pronounce your name since because you have written it in your ID in such a way. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing it. Okay, so the first question is by her. She's asking like if girls are getting their periods, then is that fine to do fasting in Ekadashi? I think it was already answered by you.
Yes.
And the second question she's asking like during Pandava Ekadashi fasting, we should not drink water too. Do we need to spit saliva?
Actually, if we are on a very elevated platform, all this is spitting saliva. Yes, very senior devotees I have heard like that. But if you're just starting or we are just doing it, we don't have to do that much. We can just refrain from water on the first level, and we have to try to do that successfully that much. So we don't have to worry. See, the all this rules and regulation is because we have to focus on Krishna, as we are discussing. So it is not the austerity. We have to focus on, am I spitting, taking saliva, or am I drinking water? That is not the point. The point is we completely absorb our senses on Krishna. So if that is successful, yes, we can not be very much concerned about very meticulously on all this saliva thing and all. So I think that helps. Yes.
Yeah, so next question is by Vaishnavi. She is asking like on Nirjala Ekadashi, mandatorily have to fast from water. She's asking, is it mandatory to fast from water on Nirjala
Yes,
Ekadashi?
yes, the very word Nirjala is to the ideally we have to restrain from water, as a name. Nirjala means no water, right? So ideally we have to do the vrat like that, because as we said, it is going to reap the benefits of all the Ekadashis. Ideally, yes, we have to restrain from water. If not, also, if that is not possible, we can at least do by drinking little water, sipping waters little here and there. And the whole idea is, again and again I'm stressing, is focus on Krishna. If Krishna's mercy is there, we can cross the ocean. There is no rules that can bind Krishna, right? Yeah.
Yeah, just to add to Mataji, your question is ideally we should be fasting from water. But if
Yeah.
someone has any health issues, yeah, like I know Vaishnavi, you have some
Yes.
health issues also personally. So if you have such health issues, you can please go with some, some of as Mataji said, that some levels of fasting is there. So you can choose your level and you can do your fasting accordingly. Maybe
Yeah.
you can
Instead.
seek your mentor's guidance on that. Yeah. So just to add Mataji to your question. So, and the next
Yes.
question is by Hari Priya. So she is asking like for a pregnant woman, family members are mostly not supportive for keep fasting. So what could be done, Mataji?
So for ideally for pregnant women, I think, see, each one their health issues will be different. So as pregnancy is concerned, so generally if there are a lot of devotees, we know they are doing fasting during pregnancy. They will do fast, as we know it is We have, that's why we have seen in this session what are the health benefits that we are, you know, getting. But since it is pregnancy, you can go, seek your advice from your doctor. If the doctor says, if you don't have any other complications adding to pregnancy, because some pregnant women will have other complications like other health, like thyroid and lot of other complications, blood pressure will be, because pregnancy is such time we lot other complications will pop in. Pregnancy will pp will shoot up, thyroid levels go here and there. So if so it is not that we adhere the fast, so that we have to take care of two things in mind. One is we are doing fasting for our spiritual benefit. So if we know our health condition that we can stretch certain hours, so it is not that completely giving up our heart and not completely fasting. As I told you, there are different levels. You can pick and choose which level of fasting you want to do, because you're pregnant. Definitely that is priority is there, because the baby has to get some nutrition. So that is there. So you can consult a doctor in this case and get some medical advice also. But spiritually speaking, there are a lot of devotees, very elevated senior devotees whom I know, do fasting on this pregnancy time. It's again. And the second thing is, if your family is not into Krishna consciousness, and if they are a little bit scared that something will happen, then we have to respect their concerns as well. So we have to be a little flexible here and there. So we have to choose accordingly what is has to be done. Choose between the different levels. Don't have to be very strict. Yeah.
So the
I
next
think
question is by
Mataji can add to this, since you're the right audience for this person to
yeah,
add few
so
points
for
on this.
me, if you ask me personally, yeah, definitely, fasting can be done by, but then during the pregnancy times, uh, I have personally spoken to many other senior Matajis. So what they have suggested is that, see, important is that your health and the baby's health also. If we fast, it is not first 3 months, but the first trimester, they say it's okay to fast, but not that much, like you don't even drink water or something like that. It's completely, definitely your health is going to be affected a lot. The baby would need complete hydration, and the baby would go dehydrated inside your room. So we need to see that what is our comfort zone. Second is that after 3 months also, you can take, like, we have three levels of fasting. One level of fasting is taking ekadashi food, like we have quinoa, we have like so many options are there. Buckwheat is there, we have singhade atta, there is a atta is available, radha madhav atta, and all those things. With that you can prepare so many dishes, and with that dishes you can keep your fasting. Like, you need not completely not eat anything. Like, for me, if you ask me personally, I was so I'm like, now alone it's my, like, last trimester, so I'm not feeling so hungry. But then I was feeling so hungry during my, baby gives movements and all those things. So you feel hungry and your metabolism is so high during the pregnancy time. So I recommend, like, for me, if you ask me personally, I recommend that please eat, don't compromise your health, because Prabhupada says that the most important thing is, first is the health, second is chanting. So first is health, so we have to take care of our health, otherwise we cannot do any service. So what is more important on ekadashi? To keep our consciousness proper. If by not eating alone we are just concentrating on that thing, just fasting, like, I'll not eat this, I'll not eat that, but in the internally I'm just dying to have some water, or just, what is more important? Consciousness is more important, right? So I would recommend that eat and just read lot of scriptures and chant more rounds. That is very, very important during the pregnancy. So that's what I would like to say, that's what I would like to add. So we have one more question by Geeta R. She is asking that if one fasts strictly without water, they might feel tired and feel asleep. Sleeping for a while is how far right, Mataji?
See, there is no, hard and fast rules as we are discussing. Whole idea is, if you want to take a small nap, so all the rules that we have listed out, like no sleep, avoid sleep, means that those are like ideal conditions. But practically, when we want to implement, take it slowly. So if you want to sleep, yes, you can take a small short nap, which will help you in turn to get refreshed and charged up, and again get back to your connecting back to Krishna. Yes, that small nap is not going to do any harm for your Ekadashi Vrat. So it is not harm that you sleep for a while. And what after sleeping we do is the question. Like if you're sleeping to get charged, and then we are back to our devotional, plugging into Krishna, reading scriptures, chanting. Yes, definitely you can sleep for a short nap is not a concern. Yes.
I see Santoshi has raised her hand. Santoshi, if it's for a question, you can please unmute and ask your question to Prem Pavitra Mataji. She would be answering you. Santoshi, you are there? Oh, you want, okay, sorry,
Unable
you're
to
not able to unmute or something. Okay, I have, yeah, you are
Hare
able to.
Krishna. Can you able to hear me?
Yes, Hare Krishna. Yes, Mats, tell me.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you so much for the wonderful session. I have two doubts on Ekadasi. Uh, first doubt is like, suggest me if I'm doing wrong in my fasting, because I have a habit like to drinking water once I wake up in the morning. So on Ekadasi day, I don't drink. So Brahma Muhurta, I wake up and I do fasting. That day I do strictly. But next day, Dwadasi day, I'm not able to control. So once I wake up, immediately I drink water. So please suggest me, and if I'm doing wrong or something, because I'm unable to control while drinking water. Once I wake up, I need water immediately. So
So it is good that you're abstaining from water for so many hours. So that itself is a good thing that you're doing. You're definitely, you are doing such a great thing by observing such kind of Nirjala fasting, abstaining from water. But there is a point. So it takes practice. Like it takes so many, Ekadashis to practice this Nirjala. So it doesn't come up one day. So you eventually you will come up to the point where you can refrain from water for the 36 hours. It is nothing wrong that you don't take it hard on yourself everything. So it's okay that you're doing it, but practically I would say you once. So the one practical suggestion I would give you is, because I personally follow a fasting focused lifestyle, so I generally do uh, like water fastings for 5 days, 2 days, not on Ekadashi, on the other days. So it's a kind of practice. Generally, to so many things are there. So you have to practice if you want to take it seriously, and if you want to really do it to the point in where you want to complete this Nirjala to the point of 36 hours to the parent time. Yes, you can. The other days, non Ekadashi days, you can at least just try this Nirjal fast here and there, so that you get practice to it, so that on Ekadashi we don't get those cravings. So it is everything as the body has to be used to it. So there is a clock, there's a biological clock. Every time when you set the clock, like this particular time I drink water, or that at this particular time I want food, it is not that you're hungry, it needs water. You're thirsty, it needs water, or hungry, it needs food. It is just the biological clock that we have set in this particular time. So we need to change or readjust the clock a little bit in terms of our sadhana is concerned. So we can practice like this on non-Ekadashi day. So that is my personal understanding, my realization, and that is how I prepare myself for Ekadashi fast. So that is how I've resetted my clock. So if you do that on particular days, then eventually you will come to a point after many months that you will not feel the need for water. Unless and until you're giving water, the body does not give you the urge to drink water. Hope that helps. But you don't
yes,
have to be hard on yourself. It's good. It is really appreciative that you're doing this fast so much. So it is good. So you can practice, and little bit you can come up to a point like that.
yes, Mataji. But one thing, before fasting break, breaking our fasting time, I'm drinking the water. That is the concern.
Yes, that is the correct thing. So far you were refraining from water and we break it by drinking water. That is the actual protocol, right? So if we are drinking water, as I said, we have to break the fast by Anukalpa. So that is how we take it on. If we were doing Anukalpa and then we break it with other food grains, that is how we break the fast gradually. And scientifically also, it is not good if you're refraining from water, the body, the enzymes are shut down. And if you immediately throw in some other foodstuffs which is prepared, your body in kind of reject it, or it will be a small, all digestive issues will be there. So that is why we take it slowly as a level. Gradually, we introduce water and then we introduce food after some hours, fruits and milk. And then we gradually set in our system to get adapted to food grains. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
so thank you so much, Mataji. I think Santoshi, you have any further questions?
Yeah, one more clarification. So we heard from the senior devotees about Nirjala Ekadasi, like those devotees who don't do fasting. I mean, like the everyday, the 12 months fasting. Those who are not able to do the fasting, they can observe this fasting. Otherwise, those who are unable to do the Nirjala Ekadasi fasting, they can fast the normal fasting also. I mean, like normal days.
All other
Um,
Ekadashis
yeah,
is the question, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yes, correct. They are absolutely right. So that is, it is not that we do Pandav Nirjal Ekadasi. So it is not like we do some quick fix method. So it is a recommend. It is like a provision that somehow if we have missed, or like for instance, some of you would have been pregnant as you have asked now, so you may not would have been able to, or some health issues, we are not able to do the Ekadashi properly. Somewhere by 4 hours, 8 hours, we break the fast due to some health issues. Then we can take advantage of the ideas. We can take advantage in such a situation for such people. This Pandav Nirjal, they can follow this 36-hour fast with complete austerity, and they will reap the benefits of all other Ekadashis. So it is not that we follow this and we skip the others. We have to do other Ekadashis also, because as I said, if you we should not fix it like that. So it is only for just some beginners, or somebody really very aged people beyond 80 or beyond 70 plus, lot of health issues, then they cannot do. So this provision is there. For others, ideally speaking, we should follow all Ekadashis as much as we can, our as to the level where our health allows us to. And so accordingly we can fix the levels of fasting accordingly. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you, Santoshi, for enlightening us with questions, because I think others also got benefited out of that. So we have one last question we are taking because it has crossed already 8 o'clock. So we'll take one last question. It is by Yadurani Kalindi Mataji. I think she has left, but no, she's there. Yeah, I'm sorry. You are there. Yeah. So while we are working, fasting would be difficult. What do you recommend for those who are working women's, Mataji?
So as I said earlier, this fasting this lifestyle of fasting, or this habit of fasting, it is basically we have to cultivate it. So as I told you, we have to practice fasting in non-ekadashi. So that is our practice. It is not that like 14 days we are giving it food, like on time. The body is used to taking food on time. So 8 o'clock morning breakfast, 12 o'clock this lunch. And so we have set the clock, biological clock. And there is a hormone called, ghrelin. This ghrelin hormone, it induces so 8 o'clock tomorrow, it pings you, like it secretes, and your hunger pangs are there. So it is not that you're actually hungry, because this clock is set such. So if so the Ekadashi day, such again the clock will come. So it has been very, very difficult, not only for working people, even for housewives, the clock is there, this biological clock. Somehow we have to break it. So only by practice, constant practice by fasting, like skipping one meal on normal days also. It is also good for your health. in the normal days when you do that. So we have seen a lot on that. That is why we have discussed so much on the health benefits of Ekadashi, not on Ekadashi, the fasting focused lifestyle as well. So my recommendation is, when you are working, and even if you're not able to do this, practice this fasting lifestyle, what I would suggest is, as much as time that if you're going to work and you're not able to do the complete fast, as we have a lot of other dishes, as you can always buy this radha madha vata, this sabu, this samar rice is there, one which is allowed. You can make a lot of many dishes. So that particular day you can pre-plan in such a way that when Ekadashi is coming, because the problem is we don't plan, and we don't know what to do, and we have no other option of breaking the fast. That is what usually happens. So when we prioritize when Ekadashi is there, when we plan like 2-3 days before, we check our list. Okay, this sabudana is there, or millets is there, or I mean the sama is there, or this buckwheat, the quinoa. We have a lot of things, radha madhavata. We check, and then we prepare pre-preparatory things that we can take on. So like as usual, we prepare for breakfast, lunch, dinner. We prepare on hand so that we don't get an opportunity where suddenly the hunger pang comes and we just dive, and without any option, helplessly we break the fast. So that we don't have to do. We can plan a little bit on hand, and then we can see accordingly. We can carry, if you don't have any health issues, like you can carry milk, you can carry thing and fruits if you're in working space. Of course, now we are in pandemic, but post pandemic, I think we'll be out and then regular jobs. So you can carry all this pre-cooked lunch meals which are offered, and then you can take it. And if you don't have time to spend on reading, so when you come back home, you can very well spend some time on chanting and all these things. And if you are any work, if you're any have an option of doing a work from home, I would recommend you on Ekadashis, you get the work from home option, and you stay at home, so that in that way you can easily become very flexible in your sadhana of doing Ekadashi rather than being in office. If that allowance is there, you can take advantage of that only, because I know many devotees who are doing this, people who are working on Ekadashis, they either take this work from home option and they completely, do this Ekadashi in a proper way. They can balance it out that way. And those who are running their own business like shops and any other business you are doing, you can take leave because it is under your thing. So you can put holiday completely and focus and do Ekadashi on that particular day. So it's just once in 2 months, right? So just 2 days for Lord Hari, right? So it is according to us, like how we plan. So planning is very important, as I said, planning and prioritizing your health. As always, Prabhupada says, health is first. So choose a level of fasting that you want to do. And I mean, there is no thing that I have to do this. So it don't take stress on that. So even if 2-3 hours or just half an hour you're chanting, if you remember Krishna and you put your heart and soul into that on Ekadashi, even that reaps benefits. It is not that we have to completely do, and then if you do half an hour, it is not like that. So your consciousness is more important. Krishna is bhavagrahi, so he sees your bhava, and what bhava, even if it is 2 minutes, 3 minutes, half an hour, 1 hour. So what is your bhava? What is your intention on Ekadashi? The mind is, the consciousness is very, very important. So that is what is more important than how many hours I have fasted. As I am hungry, I cannot read scriptures, but somehow I want to fast. So that it is not working like that. If you are used to fasting, yes, you can fast and you can also read and chant. But if you're not used to fasting, if you're having health benefits, then you can choose anukalpa or other stages of allowed foods. You can offer and then eat, and then blissfully you can do all your sadhana on Ekadashi. So idea is, somehow we have to focus on Krishna. If something is a hurdle, there's an obstacle, if the fast is going to be an obstacle for you and focus on Krishna, then better you restrain your level of fasting, or come down to a level that which is comfortable for you as per your health condition. So idea is focus everything one pointed attention, that is Krishna's day. It is Lord of Hari. So somehow by any means we have to connect to him That is the whole idea of Ekadashi. Hope that answers.
Wonderfully answered, Mataji. So it was really a wonderful session. So I think we can close the question answer session here. I know many of you would have, questions in your mind or something. So what I will do is that I am giving you here for our Gmail ID and our WhatsApp number. If you still have doubts, kindly note down this WhatsApp number and our Gmail ID. You can post your questions here. So with this, I think we can end the session here, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Okay, fine. So Hare Krishna. Everyone, looking forward to the next IYS session. So we'll be posting as per your polls and all, we'll be posting with a new time. So looking forward. So for all of you to join, and happy weekend Sunday. Okay. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna to all of you.